Percy.
Oh, what's good, man?
Oh, thanks for having me.
Glad you could stop by.
Yes, sir. Goody, bro. Just getting off work. Don't mind my dressing.
Oh, nah, man. Can't be mad when, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You dressing like that. Now, if you came in here, some McDonald's uniform, I would have probably told you, yo, you had to.
Grind's the grind, no matter where you at.
Yeah, man. So, for those of you who are wondering who this is, we have Izzy Reynard here with us.
How's it going?
And for our Perception Studios blog, he is our artist of the month. So every month we're going to feature a new artist who's the artist of the month. And as I said, it usually stems from like who's grinding, who's putting up consistency. So I hope it's not you every month.
Listen, I'm honored to be the first.
Yeah. So there we go.
So that means I'm doing something right.
Facts. And let me just make sure this. All right. So
What's up?
You have this passion of rapping. You want to be a rapper. 2015 comes around, time you're getting active. Yeah. That's how we meet. That's when we do music. Tell me a little bit more about where was your mind between 2015 and 2018?
So I felt like I've been wanting to rap since I was around like 12. So we taking it back towards the early 2000s. And I never really had the means to take it serious. You know, I think a lot of people don't realize that you have to have the means to take anything serious. You can't just be like, I want to do this, and then magically it appears in front of you.
Right.
So studio equipment, if you don't have that studio time, you got to meet the people who can help you with those things. Because even if you have the means to do that, you don't know. You just walk into a Guitar Center, you don't know what you want. So I would say 2015 was the first time where I had the means to do those things for myself. Mm-hmm. So I always had a do-it-yourself mindset.
Okay.
Because, you know, you and I come from a city where if you're not popular, they're not going to let you in even if you have the means.
Facts.
So even if you have the means, they're going to try and pimp you out. You're never going to be down.
No.
They're going to try and pimp you out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I kind of just want to do these things with people I trust and or by myself. So between 2015 and 2018, mindset was always ground up in-house. It was always that way. It's that way today, but that was my main mindset back then. Didn't know what I was doing, but I did know that I was going to do it singular. And if it was plural, it was going to be with people I knew.
Okay. So I fly out to LA. And
2018,
late 2018, I fly out to LA. You start sending me music in 2019.
Actually, it's 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Okay. So
pandemic, nothing to do.
A whole year, nothing. And then 2020, what was your first track you sent me?
Death of a Salesman, Part 1.
Death of a Salesman. And why was Death of a Salesman crucial at that time?
I had just left my job of 7 years, which was at Wells Fargo banking. And I remember reading a book when I was, I guess it's a play actually.
Yeah.
Back in, I believe, the 10th grade, Death of a Salesman. And I really liked that play / book by, I believe it's John Steinbeck, because it's kind of like the grim reality of not everybody gets to touch the American dream.
Right. That's true.
So he worked back in a time where salesmen were heralded, like in the dawn of modern America. And he worked till his death, basically. And I was thinking, man, am I going to be that person? Am I going to work to my death and never touch a dream? So that book, I think around the time when it came out, that was like at either the height or the tail end of when they were pitched the American dream to people. Like if you come to America, you could make it.
Right.
And I kind of felt like if I was going to leave my job of 7 years of stability for me, it got to be for a reason. So I knew I was going to have to go get another regular job at some point because I didn't have a job lined up.
Right.
But I was like, yo, let me touch the dream. So that's why that song was integral. And it was almost like a signified change for me.
Okay. After that, you rained down on me. You start sending me.
Yeah.
And I think 2 weeks notice was your project after that.
Which tied in with the whole
leaving your job.
Yeah.
Now, at this time, you're leaving your job. There's no certainties. During the pandemic. There's no certainties. To be honest, anyone thinking of starting to make music and push music at the time you're starting would be called crazy because of the climate that America's in, because of, you know what I mean? There's no access.
They wasn't even putting out, even established acts weren't getting pushed at that time.
Right. So you said, screw all that. I'm going to go even harder. Why did you feel like instead of caving to your environment, why did you feel like I need to push more?
I think because when it's at its quietest is when you have the opportunity to make the most noise. So when things are starting to slow down, things are starting to look like they're regressing. If you have the opportunity, that's when you should dart forward, because maybe you'll get recognized while everyone's regressing, while everyone's being quiet. That could also get you in trouble. But I looked at it as an opportunity of, hey, things are starting to slow down in my city. Things are starting to slow down in the industry. Maybe I could capitalize.
Right.
You know, I was getting my haircut the other day, and someone was asking me how my music was going, and they said, hey man, what new acts do you listen to? And I named a couple. And he said, you know what I noticed? Since Pop Smoke, there really hasn't been a guy, as in like a male rapper who came out and is popping right now.
At the time, no, there was not.
But he's saying ever since.
Okay.
He said Pop Smoke might be the last male rapper.
Oh, that was like a highlight rapper. Like, like, whoa. Yeah.
And he said ever since then, every rapper that's popular now
sounds like one of them. Yeah.
Or what he said was every rapper who has come out, I mean, every rapper that's popular right now was established before Pop Smoke. Right. Which Pop Smoke almost signifies like pre-pandemic.
Right.
So he said, since the pandemic, there really not has been a male rapper who has come out and gotten to that level. He said, you've seen a lot of the girls do it.
Yes.
But you haven't seen any of the guys do it. And so that even like feeds into my thing, right? It's like the industry's slowed. Even now, it's still slowed down.
Yeah.
So why not try and be someone who comes out of that? Some people see things slow down and they're like, well, I should go the pace. No, when things slow down is when you should speed up.
I think that's a great mindset. And for anybody who reads this blog, they should know that, like, hey, whenever you feel like you're at your worst and it's like it can't get no lower, you should always go forward instead of backward, because what do you have to lose at that point?
Yeah, true.
Things are already fucked up. The positive in your life is your craft. Go forward with it. You know what I mean? So, and then, okay, so now that starts to be evident because you drop 2 weeks notice. And at the time, did you feel like people were on board with Izzy Reynard yet?
No, which is funny because the last track that they hear is the track that people liked.
Right. Which was?
Escape Plan.
Oh, that's my favorite.
So people liked Escape Plan. Everyone else was like, first and foremost, 2 weeks notice was for me.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
It was for me to not, it was not like, when I say it's for me, it's not like when people are like, oh, I made this album for me, for therapy.
No, it was to show that you can do it on your own.
Can I do this?
Yes.
And it's like, I always wanted to release a project. Let me release a project. So when it got to that last track, I kind of had fun with it.
Now, you didn't know anything about recording yourself and engineering yourself or any of that.
No.
In fact, I was engineering you, but you learned pretty quick how to record yourself. How did that happen?
Podcasting.
Yes.
So the learning of capturing audio. Funny enough, what really birthed my ability to do these things on my own with less help than I needed before. Because like you said, when I was doing music between 2015, 2018, you were here.
Yes.
And we were making music together.
Yes.
We even had a studio.
Yes. 408.
Pretty nice studio.
Yes.
Considering the means in which we were in. Making $13 an hour.
Man, bro.
Yeah, like I really made it shake with the little bit of money that I had. You know? And that was pretty much, I would enter the realm and I would leave the realm. I wouldn't stick around.
Right.
So this was like my first time entering the realm and staying in the realm. And it's almost like for anybody who like watched Dragon Ball Z, it's like Goku going off the train with some alien elsewhere.
Yeah. God.
I actually stayed for once. Yeah, no pun intended, with Kai, Supreme Kai, right? I actually stayed for once, and then I learned the tricks of audio capture, editing, even some pre-mixing. I'm still not like a pro with it, but I learned a lot just through podcasting.
Just to get off the ground. Mm-hmm. So you make this project, you say, wow, I did it. I can do it. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So you make this project, you say, oh man, I can do it. Now, do you feel like you're on a roll that I could do this again? Like, this is dope. You know what I mean? Because it's your first time dropping anything solo. No features. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. So now, what is your mindset like? Like, I did it. Now what?
Honestly, the reception was so lukewarm. I didn't feel good.
Oh,
I was like, man, I did something that I always wanted to do. And I'm only really getting pat on the back. It's like, you did it, buddy.
Yeah. You know, when you backhanded compliments.
Yeah, it's like people are just being nice at that point.
Yes.
And I was still in a funk from leaving my job, not knowing where I'm really going with my life. So I then made my second project, Misery Loves Company. And I know I said that I made the first one for me in terms of like, can I do it? But the second one was really actually for me, like therapy-wise. Okay. Because I didn't feel good about the reception that I got. The last track was cool. Escape Pain, people liked it. But that was a portion of, I had 3 other songs on there. I had 2 songs that I had released before 2 weeks' notice. So I had a total of 5 songs out there that I had released in a month span. Because I literally, when I dropped Death of a Salesman, that was marking as, oh, in 2 weeks, you're going to get the album. The play on 2 weeks' notice. So in a month span, I dropped 5 songs and I was like, I felt really good about that. And I really wasn't getting a good reception. And I'm like, I know I can rap.
Right.
So then that's when it started getting to, is this my purpose? Or am I forcing it?
Yep.
And so I felt like, I said, well, let me just, I always had the mindset of, one more rap can't hurt, right? So I'm like, I'm not getting paid for this. I have another job now. You know, my rent's paid, my bills are paid. What does it matter what I do in my downtime? That's why sometimes I don't get people with their art when they're like, where's that going to take me? It's like, but if you like it, what does it matter?
Who cares?
Drawers draw.
Authors work jobs probably and write books.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
everybody I know who draws has sketchbooks. They bring them to work.
Yeah.
You know, people who love to read, they bring it to work. You know, people who play basketball and, you know, they're not pro, they be in these rec leagues.
Yes.
So it's no different for rap. So I always think of the one more rap can't hurt, right? So I started writing. And I really only did that because I didn't feel good about my output. So I was like, okay, let me treat this next one as therapy. And even if I don't feel good about it, maybe it'll make me feel good. Like personally.
Okay, so fast forward. Mm-hmm. You have Reset of Reynard out.
That was after Misery Up.
So Misery was after 2 weeks notice.
Correct.
Now Misery, one of my favorites, is your actual. It's like it's probably like where I would call it your unsigned debut, if you can catch that.
Something like that, yeah.
It's like this is the album that bro. If you guys listen to Misery, the album by Izzy Reynard, it's the type of album that you want from any artist that you're hearing their first album come out.
Yeah, it sounds funded in a way, if that makes sense.
It does.
Even though it's personally funded.
It is. I was going to say it was funded.
But it sounds like work was put into it, like as if a label had a hand in making it, but there was no label.
Yes.
Like it sounds directive. Like they're like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, this, that, and the other. So I also took more input on that album.
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks notice, like you said, I just rained on you.
Yeah.
And you were just like, oh, these are the songs that I have. Mix them. Yo, here's some bread. Mix these real quick.
Yeah.
With Misery, I took directive from people. I listened to people.
And that album is like what you want to hear from an artist. It's personal. It's very personal. It's literally documenting a time and a feeling at that time that you were feeling.
I think a lot of the world was.
Yeah.
Because it was a pandemic album.
To me, though, knowing you, I feel like it was how you were feeling up until that time.
Right, yeah.
Like even when we had the studio and you were probably feeling this way when you were like, yo, I'm not in the studio enough. What am I doing? All these guys are making music and you know what I mean? So hearing that album, I was like, oh, this is it. And I don't think anyone had to tell you that had to be your first project, which was also cool. You have features in there, Sam, Seven,
yourself,
myself on Sledgehammer, which was a great song. Hook,
yeah,
Sent by You.
I still think it stands out as one of the best in my catalog, to be honest.
Oh wow,
I would put Sledgehammer, yeah.
Hey, I would put Pilot Light above that, but
no, I'm saying one of the best in my catalog.
Oh, okay, one, okay,
yeah,
all right, yeah. So, Misery is out. Now you're doing something else that I'm pretty sure you yourself didn't think would happen so quickly, or you would be able to pull off.
You talking about the show?
Now you're putting on your own show.
Which now, this is the first time I thought about it that way.
Yes.
That it's 7 months after I released 2 weeks notice.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that till right now. First time I thought about how close that is.
And the crazy thing about that is you don't even, and that having a successful first show to an artist that just came out rapping. He always rap, but just came out with records. That's not supposed to happen.
No.
And on any given Sunday, that don't happen.
No.
You know what I mean? People aren't coming out even locally to go see somebody that they don't. It's like
I've been rapping for 7 months and I have a show.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute.
No, but it happened. You fly me out to the show.
Right.
Great performance. Great show.
Amazing
show.
For
like all the preparation you put into it. During that time, how are you thinking?
For me, it was a make or break moment.
Okay.
I was like literally, it was the first time I prayed about my dreams.
Ooh.
I was praying about it, and I was almost asking God that if this isn't for me, let me fail miserably. No pun intended. Let me fall flat on my face and say, hey, this is not for you. It was like I was looking for that sign. I do want to shout out you because even though I did do that and I pat myself on the back for doing it, I had a blueprint because you used to throw shows by yourself. And even though you didn't do it within your first 7 months, you showed me that it was possible to do that.
Oh.
So when you go back to my mindset of the 2015, 2018, do it by yourself. I could have looked for opportunities to perform, but I was like, why?
Right.
Because I have a vision, and even if someone gives me the opportunity to perform, they're probably not going to give me the opportunity to flesh it out the way I want to.
That's true.
But going back to your question, I was in a very stressed out mindset because I'm like, the album's done. I'm moving.
Oh, that was another thing. You were moving places.
I'm moving. It was a lot at the same time, like finishing up the album, preparing for the show, moving. It was a lot going on at the same time. So it was very make or break for me. And I was like, I'm putting a lot of time into this, a lot of work, sleepless nights, sending you records, getting them back, sending them back to make sure that everything sounds good. I had artists who were going to perform, communicating with them, meeting up with them. It was probably artistically the most busiest time of my life. And like you said, 6-7 months in to me really taking this serious. So it was very make or break for me. And honestly, if the show didn't go as good as it was, we might not be sitting here highlighting as an artist of the month.
Now, just for time purposes, we're going to skip to the album that is being covered in the blog this month. And that is Dawn. Uh-huh. This Takeover presents the Dawn of the Takeover.
Yeah. Well, it's just called a Takeover, but
yeah,
I could get, if you want me to flesh out the explanation, and that I can.
So this is almost like DJ Khaled.
It's a compilation.
It's a compilation album with all of us.
Yeah.
And some extras.
It would be like if DJ Khaled rapped.
Yes.
And was on most of the tracks.
Right.
That's what it would be like.
So.
More Life. There you go. It's closer to like a More Life.
More Life.
Yeah. I jerk.
Yes. In fact, if I could say, and, not to boost or dick ride or how everybody says, but I think Dawn, even on a local level, it is literally what a Kanye album what a modern Cruel Summer, like what a Cruel Summer last year would have sounded like. You know what I mean? With the mix of Donda, with the mix of, you know what I mean? Like it was to me, it sounds that huge. Like, how long did that album take, and how was it wrangling everyone to participate in this album, with me being in LA and then people out here in PA just being in different places?
So I feel like the crazy part about this album was this is like the most I felt like I was signed to a label.
Okay.
Like when I stay up on all the artists, I've heard so many stories. This felt like the most like I was signed to a label, because there's so many levels to making an album. This is the first full-length album I've made. 20 tracks. And there's certain parts that go really fast. And there's certain parts that take forever. So like the writing process, really fast. I probably had this album written in 4 months. But there's other parts of it that were not done in 4 months.
Yes.
Recording, mixing, editing. My verses might have been written. Other people's verses weren't written. So in all, it took about a year to put this together.
Wow.
Yes. I think from October to October. October 2023, 22 to October 2023.
And you end this album off. But before we get to your second show, I want to know, how did you come up with, this is the sound that I'm going for? Or did you think about that at first?
I kind of
because
knew.
It does have, even though each sound is different, it does have a cohesiveness about it.
So I went into this album thinking I want to finally make an album that, even if I don't have the tools to make it, I want to make it anyway. So every album or project that I made before the Takeover was, I'm going to make what I can. Like whatever ingredients I have in the kitchen, I'll make. This was the first time I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to still try and make it, even if I don't have the ingredients. So I always want to have like a cinematic sound. I'm inspired by film in my music just as much as I am music.
Right.
So I wanted to go
true.
forward and make something that sounded like if you close your eyes, you can visualize it.
Okay.
So I did want it to sound big. I did want it to sound dramatic. I wanted it to sound also, the approach to making the album was concert.
Okay.
So I wanted the first track to
I can see
sound
that.
like you were entering a concert and that's the first track that's played. And I wanted the last track to sound like an encore track. I literally curated and sequenced this album that if there was a show, you wouldn't have to have a set list. You just play it front to back.
Yeah.
So that was the creative process going into making this. It's one, make it how you want to make it. Don't compromise. Two, make it sound as big and visualistic as possible.
That's true.
Yeah. So that was my mindset going into making it.
So now, here comes a second show that you're putting on.
Correct. Yeah.
And at this point, you done it all. You done. I didn't even get to like the merch in between that you started with.
Music videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at this point,
on a local level, I've pretty much checked off every box.
In a matter of like 2.5 years.
1.5.
1.5.
Because I started late 2021, and this was, I guess, two years.
About 2 years.
So 2 weeks notice dropped early November. The takeover show was early November, so 2 years.
Yeah. So 2 years, you've done all. You have your show. That was successful. There you kind of learned some things too. You know what I mean?
I started to learn through this whole process. I started to learn industry rules, stuff that I would see in interviews. I would remember. I'm like, man, I remember when 50 Cent said that. That applies to this. Oh, I remember when Ho said that. That applies to this.
And what was one of those things?
First thing that comes to mind is keep your circle tight.
Yes.
Less is more. The powers that be will always be in play, so play friendly.
Yep.
Not everybody can go.
There you go.
So that was a couple of things that the night of that performance, had a good time. Still proud of everything that I do because, listen, man, 2015, it would have been, if you would have told me 2015, all of us, that's almost like the spoiled part of success. If you would have told us in 2015, when me, you, Sam met, at 2016, Tito's met, that we would have been able to perform a show like we did at ESO.
Oh, yeah.
We would have been like, oh, yeah, my
what?
God.
Yeah, what?
But I'm at a point now where I felt like 6 out of 10. That's how I felt when I left.
Yeah.
So 6 out of 10.
6 out, yeah.
You
start to get like that.
Yeah.
That's when people start calling you Kanye. You're like,
yeah.
Oh, wait, hold up. Am I changing?
Everybody else is like, what? This is a great night.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing to note because, I was listening to Ray Daniels talk about how he was like managing a group and they went out to the show and they performed and the crowd goes crazy. And when they get backstage, he tells them like, nah, that ain't it. Y'all gotta do better. And they start arguing with him because the crowd is like, hey, yo, that shit was fire. That was fire. And he says on their way out, a fan walks up to them and he says, hey guys, I just want to let you know that show rocked, man. Y'all did such a good job. And one of the guys look at him and they say, see, they loved it. And he was just saying at that moment that it annoyed him so much. He said to them, okay, well, guess what? Now y'all could go get managed by that fan. Because fans don't know shit. Fans show up, they get entertained. They don't know about the technical. They don't know how your light should be. They don't know how you should be standing, and they don't know how you should be projecting your voice. They don't know the science of it. They just know the meal. They just eat the meal. They don't know the chefs. Yeah. So him trying to tell you y'all ain't it is like, okay, bro, if the crowd's going crazy and Ray's saying that that it's not good enough, what could he mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think just to play on that, like that's how it is. Like a lot of people think, and it's funny because I think on a local level, a lot of local artists, they chase shows for music validation.
Yeah.
Like they don't promote their music, but they feel like the way to test their music is to go do a show, and that's backwards. Because you can find out fast how people aren't feeling your music at a show.
Correct.
You know what I mean? But a lot of local artists and even younger artists, they see shows as listening parties.
Uh-huh.
They don't really go with the mindset of performing.
Right.
They're just hoping you hear this song that they recorded and that's it, and get a reaction, and then that validates them to go back in the studio.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It takes a real artist to go out there, and whether he gets validation or not, he knows for a fact that his music's good. Like we know our music should be accepted locally like 10 times more than it is being. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
sure.
we know our sound, we know how long we worked. So I think that's dope.
It's definitely different when you do it yourself, though.
Yes.
So like the Ray Daniels thing, like if those artists maybe were doing it themselves. I remember the last song that I performed at ESO, right? This is the show that I had this last fall. I was standing on top of the, what's it called? The speaker,
the subwoofer.
The subwoofer, right? I performed the last song and I stepped down. And I remember the crowd kind of like going around me and like almost like patting me on my back.
Yeah.
And just kind of feeling numb. Like I didn't deserve those pats.
Yeah, it was probably like, oh, y'all haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, I'm just like, thanks, but I'm not feeling as high as you guys are right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Kobe, job's not done.
Job's not done.
Right? That's how I felt in that moment. We went out afterwards, people were drinking. Why aren't you drinking? You're celebrating you. I'm like, I feel like I got to go think about tonight.
Yep.
I feel like I got to go home, wake up tomorrow, smell the roses, and think about what went wrong. I have to sit with reality. I'm chasing a dream, but this is one of the most real moments of my dream.
That's true. So Dawn's out and you did a show. Uh-huh. And so what is coming up for you before we go, and where can people find you? So let's start with what's next for Izzy Reynard.
So I think everything that you hear on the Takeover album is now going to start manifesting in reality.
Oh, wow.
So everything that you hear on there, all the shit that's being talked, all the people that you're hearing on there, the unity, the skill, the production.
I was going to say, yeah.
You're going to start seeing that in reality now. You're going to start seeing, okay, I'm starting to match a face to the name. Mm-hmm. So you're going to start seeing me do more stuff like that, where it's not moving by myself as much anymore. Moving with a unit. You're going to start seeing me popping out more. You're going to see me start putting music out there that's, okay, he showed us that he could do it.
Now it's like, wow, he could do it.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, we didn't really talk about that, but the reception of the Takeover is, even the people who were reluctant to give me the props before are like, oh shit.
Yes, and that's when you convert, like, people don't understand music is like politics, bro. You got to campaign for yourself
or religion,
just like the politicians. You know what I mean. So when you get those people that are indecisive, and you get them and you win them over, or you win the people that were like, well, now it's like, oh, I'm a fan. That's what you want as an artist, as you're building your fan base. You want to create that story of, hey, people weren't fucking with me. And sure. I feel like a lot of people nowadays, they just want people fucking with them off rip without minimal work. It
almost makes me ashamed to think of the days where I thought people should fuck with me.
I know, bro.
And you're like, man,
I be thinking of that too,
man.
Because when I first started, my quality wasn't.
It's funny because when you make better music,
Yeah.
You get more sure and confident.
Yeah.
But you lose some of the cockiness.
Yes.
Because you're like, wait, I was actually cocky then.
Yeah.
When I thought people should fuck with me. And I didn't have a right to be fucked with.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you don't fuck with me. There's other ears.
There's other ears.
I don't care. So it's like, I'm more confident now. But that cocky side goes away because I'm like, bro, I'm ashamed of even thinking someone should have fucked with me back then.
Yeah.
Now people don't fuck with me. It's just like either you're a hater or it's not for you. You know, I have that confidence now where I don't need the validation of people anymore. But for sure, you're going to see me popping out more. More music's going to come. But I'm mostly just working on my brand. I got my podcast network that I'm bringing back full force.
Okay.
You'll be appearing on there.
Yes, I will.
And I don't want to show my hands too much. I don't know when this is going to release.
Okay.
But I got some surprises on the horizon, not just for me, but people that I'm working with. So I'm really excited for what I feel like is going to be a movement in and out of my city.
And you guys are going to hear more next month on my in my August blog. Okay. So in my August blog, you're probably going to get everything that he's talking about that's coming up. You know what I mean? If not September, you'll be hearing a lot.
But yeah, so if this drops afterwards, then you know it'll just be like, oh, this was the prequel to everything he was talking about. Yeah. You know, so as far as where they can find me.
Yeah, where can they find you?
I always just tell people hit the gram at Izzy Reynard because I just put all my content there.
Again, guys, that's Izzy Reynard. That's IZZYREYNARD.
Yes.
And that's the same in Spotify, Apple Music, across all platforms.
Yep. There's only one Izzy Reynard. So
what's the name of the podcast that they should be keeping their ears open for?
So it's a network, the Reynard Podcast
Reynard Podcast Network.
So there's a couple shows, but I would say the one that they should really be checking for if you like this, check for Takeover FM, which you'll be appearing on.
Yep.
We got a couple of shows on there. It'll all be linked, but that'll be like the flagship show. So if you like talking life, music, entertainment, you know, that's a really good show that's going to be coming out soon.
Let's go. Izzy, I thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be the first artist of the month, and hopefully I'll be one again someday. I don't want to cool down. So
yeah, y'all can't let this man run the rest of the year artist of the month.
Yeah.
Because y'all ain't putting in the work. So y'all got to put in the work because I'm looking for my next artist of the month for August. So keep grinding, keep the grind out. Izzy, thanks for showing up.
Thanks for having me.
And peace.